Hey, what's up everybody? This is Hubnall24. If you're like me, you have a classic Mustang and you're considering rewiring the entire vehicle right now, and during the course of that decision-making process, you're going to watch a lot of videos, read a lot of articles, do a lot of research trying to figure out which kit is best for you. Because let's face it, these things are expensive and you really want to get it right the first time. So I decided to make this video because I chose to purchase the American Autowire Classic Update Series for the 64 through 66 Mustang because I liked what it had to offer. So I decided to make this video so that you guys could see what's in the box before you make the leap and potentially buy this kit. So let's talk about that. This is kit number 510125, again for the 1964 through 1966 Mustang, specific for those cars only. And I want to take a second before I open the box and zoom in on this picture that's on the side, because this is essentially what the kit looks like now with a few differences. The main difference being the fuse box is no longer looks like this in my kit. This is the first generation. I have the second generation, and in my opinion, it's a lot better. The redesign is now an enclosed fuse box. I'll show you all about that here in just a second. So let's talk about what's in the box. You open up the box and the first thing you're gonna see, or should see, is a big set of instructions with a giant stop sign on them. And you want to take a second to familiarize yourself with these, specifically this front page. Now before I get into that, I want to mention that you could go right now over to the American Autowire website. You can search out kit number 510125, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there should be a little drop down menu for you to download in PDF form this exact set of instructions. Now, this page here with the stop signal will tell you what this kit can do, what it won't do, and some of the things you need to have in place before attempting to install this kit. Primarily, one of the big things is this kit calls for a one-wire alternator. So if you don't have one, you're either going to have to buy a one-wire alternator and install that, or they make a conversion kit, a little part that will turn your existing alternator into essentially a one-wire setup to work with this kit. So you have to decide what's best for you. I went ahead and bought a brand new one because mine is old and it's I'm struggling with some power issues. So I bought a brand new 100 amp alternator, and now I'll have no problem running everything that I have now. And if I want to add some things down the road, I'll still have plenty of power for that too. So let's open these up real quick and we'll just go through it. Here's the fuse box I was talking about. From what's on the side of the box till now, this is the new fuse box. It's got a cover on it. It's completely closed. They've removed the flashers from the fuse box themselves, and they're now positioned on the wiring themselves, just in line down the system a little bit instead of on the fuse box. This will now mount, this fuse box in Generation 2 kit will mount almost where the factory box is now. You have to remove the instrument cluster and mount it to the driver's side. Almost where the kit comes with a, oh here it is, comes with a template to show you where to mount it in relation to your existing fuse box mounting holes. So that's pretty nice. Thumbing on through, you see lots of color photos, really detailed descriptions. And I really like this page here, which tells you about the underdash harness. If you can pick up behind the colorful wires, here's a drawing of the instrument cluster here. This is the whole dashboard of the car, right? Here's my ignition, here's my headlight switch, here's my windshield wiper knob, all that stuff. So you get an idea of where these wires are going to run in relation to your dash themselves. So if you go on over across your car, right here, kind of close to where your radio will be, or is where your flashers will now be located. And on over, the wires run out to the passenger side door if you've got courtesy lights and things like that. So it's really nice little additive to give you kind of a map so you can tell if you've got everything sort of in the right place of where it should be. Moving along, just general parts lists and and what's in the bag, so to speak, because each kit is broken down, or this kit is broken down by sections, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Here's your instrument gauges. This is the one that I'll have to use, your instrument panel for, like your water temperature, oil pressure, fuel, and the high beam lights and instrument lights and things like that. This is for all 66 Mustangs, so this is the wiring setup that I'll have to use on my vehicle. So you can see here's under the hood here, everything running from your starter solenoid over to your alternator and your coil and stuff like that. Then here's the rear, talking about coming from the rear of the car, doing tail lights and all that sort of thing. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the headlight option, the headlight harness, and then the tail light harness is right here. So really nice set of instructions. Here is a little bit of a breakdown of the fuse panel itself. 16 slots. So if you have some things that you're running or will in the future, you won't have to splice into your wiring. You should have a fuse spot just for that. Like if you're going to do something like power seats, which I probably won't do, but I could run something else to the power seat fuse slot. Here's something for power locks, power windows, and then of course heat and AC. If you don't have AC, you can add it too, and you'll have a little spot for that to minimize any splicing that you may have to run into. So let's get into what's in the kit itself. The first thing you're going to see is this big honking bag of wiring, right? This is your main dash harness kit. As you see, there's a G up here. Like I said, everything is broken down by letter to coincide with the instructions. They don't just throw a whole big wad of wiring in the box and say good luck. They break it down by parts, so you only get to that part when you're ready for that section of wiring. All the wires are labeled, so it tells you where everything goes. This blue wire, for example, is an oil pressure wire. Whenever possible, they go ahead and pre-terminate the wires and put them in the connectors, so they try to make it as plug and play as possible. There's still going to be plenty of areas that you're going to have to terminate. Like for example, see, I'm going to have to terminate this wire, and I'll talk to you about that here in a minute. But let's move on. The next thing out of the box here is this is the rear body harness kit. This is your tail lights, your fuel sending unit, your license plate light, and things like that. Next thing is the forward lamp harness kit, which is of course headlights, parking lights. There's hookups for your horn in here. So next thing out of the box is the instrument cluster harness. Again, see a letter H. So when you make it to H in the instructions, you rip open the instrument cluster harness kit, and you're going to work on that. This has a lot of unterminated wires, and the reason for that is American Autowire allows for you to customize your installation to a point. They give you plenty of wire so that you can route it how you see fit and then terminate it to size. So that's why some of these wires are not terminated yet. Next bag out of the box is the engine harness kit. So this is everything you need to go in the engine bay. For example, like this white wire here says coil. So this is the one that's going to run to my coil. Again, a lot of these are not terminated, but like I said, you can custom route your wiring under your hood, and you get plenty of wire to be able to do that. So you can have as clean of a look as you would like, or as custom of a look as you would like as well. This is the alternator and main power connection kit. This has a nice big 6-gauge wire to run to my alternator and to ground my alternator. There's also a mega fuse in here to add a little bit of extra safety. You can see all my terminals are in here. I just got to hook them up, and there's even a little shrink tube in there to make everything look nice and clean, so I don't have any exposed wiring or anything like that. Here's some little goodies in little bags here that you may not expect would come with the wiring kit. This is a brand new ignition switch. A lot of stuff was grounded to this in an original Ford setup, so these tended to get hot. There was some melting. This is an area where some fire could start, so it's nice that they give you a brand new one of these. Next thing out of here is a dimmer switch. Of course, this is going to mount on the floor, and this is going to knock my high beams on and off. Also, you get a brand new headlight switch. This will replace the one that's in there right now. All you got to do is pop the knob off that you use to turn your headlights on and off, and install this one, and put your knob back in, and you've got a brand new headlight switch. Also a bag, of course, of fuses and flashers, so you don't have to go to the parts store and buy fuses. Comes with. And the last thing that's in here is a terminal practice kit, because let me see if I can get these to spread out a little bit. These have a special type of terminal in them, and it's nice that American Autowire gives you the opportunity to practice getting this right before you actually have to use the ones meant for the wiring, which brings me to a good point. I highly recommend getting a specialty set of crimpers for these tools or for these wires. Now, this is known as an open barrel terminal. Let me find it there. These are called open barrel terminals, and you can also find them if you search terms like F-crimp. Don't try to use the standard set of crimpers that you have in your toolbox. It's not going to work. They require a special crimp, and I'll show you what I went with. I mean, you can get the ones from American Autowire. They're obviously meant to work with these kits, but they're really pricey. You can buy them or rent them. But if you're like me, you know, I've bought this kit and I probably won't get it installed for several months. And if you rent the tools from them, it's a 30-day rental. So keep that in mind if that's an option you're thinking of doing. But anyway, you know, here's what I bought. Really cheaper set, more budget set that I found on Amazon. And you can see that these are not like your standard crimpers in your toolbox. They are meant just for open barrel type terminals, and that's really what you got to have. So I recommend getting a set of those. I found these on Amazon. They were really budget friendly, so you can do reviews and figure it out if you're comfortable or not buying those. So there you go. That's everything you get in the American Autowire kit for the 64 through 66 Mustang, kit number 510125. If you have questions or comments, you can throw them down below. I'm not sure that I'll be able to answer everything, but maybe somebody else that watches this video will be able to. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this gives you some information that helps your research process a little bit. And good luck rewiring that Mustang. I'll see you on the road. Later.